So here's a like a real quick tech tip. Like I use like a streaming software, and my intro has to be a little long because certain platforms can't handle some of the technical stuff. So it's like really techie stuff. Like if you here's a good example. If you go to Facebook, the intro will be 15 seconds. As an example, if you go to YouTube, it'll be 5 seconds. If you go to LinkedIn, there might not be an intro at all. So that's like it's some tech stuff involved that's really complicated. But anyway, I have a presentation, a speech, a talk that I did like a while back, and I want to play it because I never got that content uploaded. So that's my objective today. I'm going to get that content uploaded. It's in bite-sized chunks. So I'm going to do one video, two video, three video, four video. I think it might be five videos because I need to get this content out to somebody on my team, like one of my contractors, so they can produce some YouTube shorts and TikToks and Instagram reels type of content for me. So that's what I'm going to do. Enjoy.
Thank you, Khalid, for that great information. I absolutely love the going and looking up somebody else's content and reinventing that or making it your own, because who wants to reinvent the wheel when you don't need to? Our next speaker is Jerome Lewis. He is the only, and when I say only, we go ahead and put that in caps, bold, and underline it, the only authority on marketing implementation for real estate entrepreneurs. He is a realtor, real estate investor, and a digital marketing expert. He is a #1 national best-selling author of over 7 titles, a podcast host, the founder and chief marketing officer of Digital Real Estate Strategy, a company that helps real estate entrepreneurs implement, structure, and systematize their tech, lead generation, marketing implementation, and business system. Please welcome Jerome Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I get a round of applause, please? Jesus Christ, let's make some noise. So, I appreciate you all being here. My name is Jerome Lewis, like she just said. And what I'm going to try to do today is, Khalid told me I had 30 minutes, so you got to bear with me. Sometimes I talk a little bit fast, but I'm going to try to give you as much value as possible. And when Khalid started off, like I take notes. I'm always learning. He started off and he started talking about some of the social media strategies, right? And he talked about people that want free 99. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell a little bit about my story, and then I'm going to get into like the raw content. I'm used to teaching like content for an hour. So this was like hard for me. I teach like an hour at minimum, every week I teach for a whole hour. So bear with me. All right. So with that, I have a 5-step strategy for real estate entrepreneurs and introverts, right? I get up here and you'll see me all over social media, right? One of the reasons why I use social media is because I'm an introvert. I don't want to keep having the same conversations over and over and over again. So you build assets and marketing systems so they can have these conversations for you, right? So a 5-step strategy for real estate entrepreneurs and introverts to build a marketing system that lasts a lifetime, all right? So I'm going to show you how to get rid of that free 99 mentality and how to exterminate those free 99 customers, that people that want your time for free. All right, so all right, so this is a key in a guide, right? I'll tell you, I'm used to teaching, and you can't teach everything in an hour. You can't teach everything in 90 minutes. So you got to give people other resources. Just like Khaled Hindu, he said, I'll see you next month for the next 5, because it's tough, right? This is a legitimate business, and we got to do the real thing. So this is my key, and this is my guide, right? These are clickable links. What I like to do at the end of my presentations is I like to make sure you have a resource that you can take and that you can utilize in your business, right? Because it's also a version of marketing, right? You give people value and they want to come back to you in the future. So see those links, that means it's a resource that you can click on. I will make sure everybody is able to collect the slides from Khalid a little bit later. When you see this particular icon, right, these are emoji. That means take a screenshot of that slide. And when you see a star, that's a bonus slide. When you see this, right, I'm expecting participation. So I got like some books and stuff that I want to give away depending on who wins and whatnot. I like to be competitive, happily competitive. And then I want to tell you how you can get access to the slides a little bit later, right? So you're going to talk to Khalid, and I'll let you know how you can get access to that. All right, so let me tell a quick relevant story. Sometimes people tell a story and it's like has nothing to do with what it is that they're talking about, right? So this is me, right? I was in retail. Like when I first started, before this all started, I was in retail, and I was working hard, like to take care of my family. And I'm an introvert, and talking to people all the time, I would leave this job and I would have headaches. And I was like, something's got to change, right? Something's got to change. So what I did was, I was like 19 or something like that. I'm like, I need to get another job. And then I got another job, and I call this corporate chaos, right? Because I was working retail and customer service, I naturally moved over to like this, what do you call it, like operate customer service, where they just curse you out about everything. Like they like look forward to cursing you out, like these kind of jobs, retail jobs, on the phone. So then I was like, man, I gotta leave this too. And I left there, right? I was doing like, I don't know what to call it, but I left there and then I moved over. I was in school at Pathmark. It basically funded my schooling. And what I did was I went to school for like IT. And I went here, it was customer service, and because I had IT skills, I went here. And I was working for like basically a help desk. It was called a data center. And I picked up a lot of tech skills at that job. And while I was doing this job, I was really good at it. Like anything I do, I take to heart, and I take it very seriously, right? I got a silly side, but I'm serious when it's time to work. So I was doing this job, and I was like busting my behind for this company. And the manager, I'm like sitting this way, so he would be over there. Sometimes he would become insecure. And I'm like, why is this man being so insecure? And I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. I was the best worker. Like, and I'm not bragging, I was the best worker, and he just become insecure. He would attack me sometimes. So I'm like, what's going on? And then one day, I forget how I discovered this book, but I discovered this book, and the first law is never outshine the master. And I was like, you know what? That's what I've been doing, and that's why he's so insecure. I'm outshining him. I'm so good, and I'm trying to bring him so much value, but I'm not keeping in mind his emotions. And I read this book. This book, 48 Laws of Power, is like, Robert Greene, he like started my journey into like all personal development. If I tell, like I usually don't share that with people because they're like, oh my God, it's an evil book. You shouldn't read that book. But this book changed my life. So that book got me into personal development, and one of the first books that I discovered in the personal development was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So that, like when you embark on the personal development journey, one of the things you kind of naturally come across is like how to become financially free, wealthy, and stuff like that. And this book kept coming up. And in this book, he's like, invest in real estate. I'm like, all right, how do you do that, right? So just recently, and like earlier this year, I went to a event, and he was there. And you can kind of look, you can't really see it, but I had COVID, and I was sweating, and I just did what I had to do to go to this event and get this picture because he helped change my life. So that's Robert Kiyosaki. That's the book that changed my life. And this is me and Robert Kiyosaki here again. So he kept saying, go get a coach, get into real estate. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure it out. And that's kind of what I did, right? So when I did, I was like looking for a mentor, and I'm not going to say his name because he hates me now, right? He like, sometimes people get jealous of your success, and he's like so envious of my success now. And I'm going to tell you about why a little bit later, but I picked these pennies or whatever this is intentionally because it took me 2 or 3 years just to save up for that mentor for the $3,000. It took me a long time because I got kids, and I had to pay for my kids. So it took me like 2 years just to save up and to get that mentor. All right, so but that mentor, right, I don't want to say his name, but he did influence me. And one of the things he said was like, go out and network. And that's what I did. I would go out and network, and I would go out and find and build networks, right? And one of like my secret mentor, I just told him this like this week, was Nick Tang. Like he runs real estate events here in Philadelphia, New Jersey. He does some stuff in New York as well. And I would just go to all these events, and I would learn everything that I could learn in person. And he also had a website, so I learned everything that I could from him. And then like you can kind of see here, like his events are huge now, but he had just started his events, and like you can see like an empty seat. Now it's like rare that you'll see an empty seat when he runs events. But I would come to these events, and I would sit there, and I would learn everything, and I would see people helping him. And I'm like, how could I find a way to add value and help him too? So I would come early, and I would figure out ways to add value, right? A lot of times people say, I don't know how to add value. Number one, you gotta show up. So I would show up, and I would help set up, and I would help break some of the stuff down. And then one day, he, after a while, he's like, hey, why don't you help out more consistently? And I did. And then I got close with all of these guys, and that's how I kind of got into the real estate space, right? There's one more picture. And this is him now. So this was me like 6 years ago, and this is me now. And we like do some events together. I sponsor him. He's one of my close friends. And I telling you, I just, I published books. And he didn't know, but I said just this the other day because he posted an event. I said, you were my second mentor without even knowing. He didn't even know, but I was just showing up, adding value to him, adding value to his life. So this is the flop. While I was doing that, what did I do? While I was doing that, I had started helping out like a local real estate investment association. And because I was showing up consistently, I was doing the same thing. Because I was showing up consistently, they was like, Jerome, why don't you come help out with some of the stuff and become what they call a subgroup leader? And I was like, sure, I'll be a subgroup leader. And I didn't know what I signed up for. So I was helping out, and I was offering my IT skills to this company now. And then one day, one of the leaders, he said, Jerome, I need you to do some intros. And I like froze. I was like, what the hell? And it was time for me to speak and like introduce myself. And I did. It was like in West Philly, I remember, and I was like so nervous introducing myself that I was up there for like maybe 30 seconds, but I felt like 30 minutes, and I was like sweating like hard, like a lot. And I was sweating so bad they could all see it. They were like, Jerome, what's wrong? Are you nervous? I was like, no, I'm good. But I was sweating because I was so nervous from having to speak. And I mentioned Nick a little bit earlier. One of the things I learned from him, he was like, do it anyway, scared or not. And I had that in mind when I did this. But I'm telling you, it hurt. Like, I was like sweating, and they were like, you all right? I was like, yeah, I was all right, but they could see that I wasn't all right. I was not okay. All right, so during all these events, I met this guy. Khaled, you might know him, but he would come around and he was like, Jerome, you do some stuff with Nick. I see you around, and would you be interested in like an opportunity? I wasn't licensed yet, and he came and he gave me, it said, the best real estate opportunity yet. He was like, look at this company, right? I know IT, I know tech. I was like, okay, let me look at it. And I looked, and it was like, well, duh, that makes the most sense. Like, why would a company do anything else? And he introduced me to EXP. I signed up under Connor. You heard Khaled mention him a little bit earlier, and that's us. This is an event that we did like years ago. So there we have that. Shortly after, I volunteered again, right? Do it anyway. The instructor left. One of the instructors left, and they were like, oh, we need a teacher. And I was like, I'll do it. Then I like ran away, and I really didn't know what I was gonna do, but I stepped up. I was like, I'm gonna do it, right? A lot of times, like, Jerome, you've got skills, and I don't got skills. I'm just willing to put myself out there. It's like the thing. I told you I'm a big introvert, major introvert. And I picked up like a lot of teaching skills when I was doing that. And this is Vina Jones-Cox. She was like, Jerome, you do some stuff. What do you do? And I'm like, I had a wholesale business, and most of my business was coming from Facebook ads. So she asked me to speak on this national event, big platform. And I was like, you know what? I'd be happy to speak, and I'm just gonna tell y'all what I do, because that's easy. Like, I don't have any stories or anything like that, and I did it, and was the #1 speaker. And I was like, there's something here that I can do. I can teach and I can show people how to get business, right? And I'm gonna show y'all how to get rid of those free 99 people, all right? So after Vina gave me that opportunity, I was featured like all over. This is not even half of where I've been featured and where I speak, but these are just some of my favorite. We got EXP here. I did EXP South Africa somewhere else, and Bragg, we know each other. So these are just some of my past speaking engagements. After I was still on that company, that local RIA, they asked me to join their board, and by being part of their board, I was afforded the opportunity to be part of their high-level mastermind. And I met this guy, right? That first mentor that I was talking about, the one that kind of hates me now, he introduced me to this guy, and this guy is the legend in real estate investing. Like, you can't, like, if you don't know who that is, I don't know why you're in this business. But he's a legend in real estate investing, but he's also really good at marketing. Really good at marketing. And I was like, what's the difference between him and other people? And he's really good at marketing. And he learned from one of my recent mentors, right? So he's really good at marketing, and we are both part of a cohort called the mentor, his name is Dan Kennedy. I learned a lot from Dan Kennedy, and we learned from him. And because I learned from him, right, I built up my authority. I learned how to market. I reached out to Ron LeGrand, and I was like, hey, would you mind writing a foreword for my book? And he said, absolutely. He said yes. And the reason why he said yes, and he committed so easily, was because of the marketing asset that I'm going to tell you about. And most of you should already know what it is. You should have, there are some hints around. This is me really quickly at the EXP shareholders event, and that marketing asset that I'm telling you about, it gave me this opportunity, right? So I spoke, and I was doing all this stuff. The only reason I had this opportunity, because the marketing things that I was doing, creating a video, doing the social media, the stuff that Khalid is talking about, doing all of that stuff consistently, even when nobody's watching. You got to keep doing it. You got to persist, right? So there's Connor again. That's me and Curtis. Curtis gave me the opportunity to continue to speak and teach at those events. And I got this up here because Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank was on at this event, and it was like, I was proud to be part of that, to share the stage with him and what he taught. I just didn't get my picture, so I'm a little salty about that. But so everything that I learned, I was like, I want to start planning out and trying to show people how they can do the same thing that I did, and like use and come up with that ultimate marketing asset, right? And the reason why I call it the ultimate marketing asset is because it helps you get rid of those tire kickers and everything like that. I started a marketing agency for real estate entrepreneurs. We can help other people, but I wanted to help people in real estate because I was so close to real estate. During the process, I would work, and I try to make it like a 12-step thing where you can do one thing every month. We got it down to 5 most recently. But here's the thing, there was still like an issue. Me trying to show people how to do this, there was still an issue. So no matter what I showed people, it took them like a long time to implement, right? So I'm like, Jerome, just because you can do something doesn't mean everybody else can do something. And you hear people say, oh, it's all about simplification and stuff like that. And it might sound a little bit corny, but it's true, right? You have to simplify. So I'm like, how can I simplify what I'm doing and showing people and make it better, make it easier? So what was simple and easy for me was frustrating and exhausting for others. The tech and tools were overwhelming, right? Us as professionals, we get overwhelmed by some of these complicated processes. And tech and tools, that's one of those processes that overcomplicates things and frustrates us. Leads were coming in fast for some, but slow for others, despite them all using the same strategies. And that's not really important, but so. I was frustrated. I wanted to come up with a better process, and I wanted to come up with systems so people could learn how to implement what I was implementing a little bit easier. It took me 4 years to like figure this out, but I finally figured it out. Trial and error. I figured out like using the best tools, making things simple for people, right? So I started creating training and systems for my staff and my colleagues, and I was like, you know what? I actually have a product here, and I can show other people how to implement and use this in their business. And this is what I call it. It's called the ultimate real estate marketing implementation. Because one of the things that we fail to do or memorize, one of the things we fail to do is we know all about marketing, but when it's time to implement, when it's time to take action, we fail, right? So this system is meant to encourage that implementation and show you how to implement. I started testing it out with others outside of real estate industry, right? So I would show real estate people, but then I started showing other people. I'm like, how can I make this as simple as possible? And as a result, like, it's probably over 8,000 people that I've helped now, but we help 8,000 people develop long-lasting, right? Because this is the important part. Long-lasting marketing assets, processes, and systems. I was also able, to become a national #1 best-selling author because of this process and these systems that I'm talking about. So, after creating the ultimate real estate marketing implementation system, I was now able to implement marketing and stop worrying about how to get like more leads, how to get marketing going. And because I can now do that, that means I can help others do it, right? With our simple system, with the simple stuff that I teach you how to do. So one of the things that I like to do, one of the things that we specialize in, we take away the pain and frustrations, right? Because this stuff can be complicated and overwhelming, but it's worth it. And We help you come up with your own marketing processes, right? Some people take what we have and then they go do their own thing, right? I've created students, I've created speakers, I've created authors, all kind of things using this stuff, right? So ultimate real estate marketing implementation. The overview, the most important part of your real estate business, right? Now we're getting into the content. We're going to talk about unique content, marketing, remarketing and following up, webinar creation, a marketing asset that lasts a lifetime and beyond, and then the 12-touch ultimate marketing follow-up. So what is marketing? Marketing is a process or activity. It's the process or activity of getting prospects interested in your brand, company, product, or service. So if we make that more towards real estate, that means I'm emphasizing process and activity because marketing is not something that you do one time. You got to do this stuff over and over again, or get a system that's going to do it for you over and over again. So it's a process or activity of getting people interested in doing business with you. That means selling a house, buying a course, getting a new mortgage, having a consultation, getting their credit repaired. It's a constant process. That's marketing. It's not something that you do one time, right? Marketing is meant to encourage actions such as clicking a link, encouraging engagement, like, comment, subscribe, inquiring about information, purchasing something, submitting information, filling out a form, or registering for something. Marketing can be online and offline. It can be direct and indirect, right? So one of the things I always like to emphasize is branding is indirect marketing. That's indirect marketing. Marketing, telling somebody to do something specifically, that's direct marketing. So there's a difference between branding and marketing. Sometimes you got the people that are doing all these videos, it's like, where's the call to action? What are you trying to achieve here, right? Marketing is more direct. Hey, comment below, that's direct marketing. Hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel, that's direct marketing. When you're telling somebody to do a direct action, right? Sometimes people go out there and they're creating all this content and they don't know what the purpose is, right? So that's branding and marketing. Marketing can be social media. So Khalid talked about social media and how important it is to utilize social media. And what I'm going to try to do today is emphasize how you can use social media to implement these strategies that I'm talking about today. Marketing can be cold calling, door knocking, direct mail, mailers, digital ads, Facebook, Google, Craigslist. I heard Khalid talking, and one of the things he brought up Pinterest. And Pinterest is a search engine, and what we're going to talk about today is, like, there's a difference between paid and organic, then there's disruptive and interruptive. I'm not going to go into it, but digital ads, I wish I would have put Pinterest here, but I want you to think about like Google and YouTube and Amazon, and Pinterest. Those are all search engines. People are looking for specific things when they're looking for that information. Whereas like Facebook, I don't know about Craigslist, but those are disruptive platforms, right? So keep that in mind. And marketing is just about anything you can think of. Learning marketing will help you with lead generation. It will help you with establishing authority, credibility, and expertise. I like to call this ACE. It helps you build trust. It helps you gain more business, and it helps you close more deals. Marketing is the most important part of your business. Marketing is the most important skill. These are some quotes that I like to emphasize. Marketing is the most important skill you can learn in any business, right? So we're talking about real estate, but this is the most important skill you can learn in any business. It doesn't matter how good your product or services are if no one knows about them. Get good at marketing and your bank account will reflect that. Marketing isn't something you learn, so this is one of my direct mentors. It's not something you learn, it's something that you do, right? And this quote stuck with me because people want to post one video and want the leads to come rolling in, and it doesn't work like that, right? I got videos that went viral and I got videos that done nothing, right? You have to constantly do it. It's a constant process. Khalid talked about paid and marketing. Everybody wants the free 99, but you got to pay these platforms. They call them social media, but they want your money too. Is it worth learning marketing when you can just outsource it or pay someone else? It depends, right? So how will you know what good and bad marketing is if you outsource it, if you don't know what that is, right? How will you know if you are making a good ROI, a good return on investment? Next, what happens if a company decides to cancel you, right? You see they canceling people lately, so what happens, right? You should be able to take over your marketing, take over your business, right? What happens if the company goes out of business? So I had this colleague, I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, man, I was doing so good with the leads. I said, well, what happened to the leads? He said, that company went out of business. I said, oh, dang. So he gets no more leads, no more business because that company went out of business. So the real direct and honest answer, if you can't tell by now I'm very direct, is yes, you should learn marketing. Should I learn marketing? These are reasons why you should learn marketing. It will give you speed, right? If you need good marketing done fast, it is expensive. People come to us, they come to our company and they're like, hey, I want this stuff done. And we're like, well, this is going to be that price. You got that price? No. Good marketing is expensive if you want it fast. Other reasons to learn marketing. So you aren't held hostage when you need quick updates and changes, right? We're all professionals here. I know some of us dealt with Fiverr. That can be a headache, like dealing with those people on Fiverr or those job boards or whatever you want to call them. Like, that's a headache, communicating back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes you just need a small tweak. That's all you need. And it's like, well, is it worth that back and forth? So if you learn marketing, you understand what you're trying, you can make that tweak yourself instead of having to pay somebody or exhaust your time. Learn marketing so you, because of knowledge, right? So you can know what's good or not. Right? There's some bad marketing out there. I just talked about the branding. Shy knew, he lit up. I'm like, you can't just keep posting stuff. You need to have call to action, right? Are you branding or are you marketing? Pick one. If you learn marketing, you will be flexible. This is similar to this one, right? You can make the exact adjustments that you envision, right? So you don't have to call on someone else. Learn marketing so you can create it, notice it, replicate it, and apply it. Some people still, look, I'm gonna say that's the real thing. I'll just outsource my marketing, and this is why people get held hostage, because that's dumb, that's silly, right? You wanna make sure you learn marketing. For optimal results, you should learn what good marketing is, so you can guide anyone, or you can hire or outsource. So the bottom line about marketing is the most important part of your business. Knowing and understanding effective marketing strategies will make a major positive impact in your business. It will change your life for years to come, like it did mine, and effective marketing will be a major determinant of your financial success. Now, the best way to get good at marketing, this is the overview. Like anything else in life and business, you want to get educated, and that's what everybody here is doing. You're getting educated. Number two, you want to make a commitment, right? People get educated and then that's it. They don't take the next step. And I realized that the next step is like, I'm going to do this. That's a commitment. Like I said, they brought me on the stage and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I was committed though. I didn't know what to do, but I was committed. And after you make that commitment, you get started, right? This is where people freeze. It's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I remember I was like doing video. I was trying to get good at video. And I went on Facebook and I started the live and I just sat there and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. They were like, Jerome, it's okay, right? And they were encouraging me, right? People want to see you succeed. They're like, it's okay, say something, take the time, you can do it. But I started it, I did it, and then the next time I was able to get over that hump. Make sure you're consistent, persistent, and make sure you practice frequently, right? If you see me, like Khaled's talking about, if you see me on social media, I got videos like almost every day. Every day, I be talking about a bunch of stuff. Sometimes nonsense, sometimes it's not nonsense. But I talk. I'm out there, I'm practicing, and I'm consistent. And this is my favorite. Like, get some mentorship, coaching, and be part of masterminds, similar to what we're doing here. Think about marketing that worked on you. So we're all being marketed to. We like certain messages. And something I like to say is that marketing, the only time we don't like advertising and marketing is when we don't like the product. Right? We like to buy, but we don't like to be sold to. We like to buy. We buy some stuff, but we don't like to be sold to. So these are educational resources that I have for you. Like when you collect the slides a little bit later, you can click through all of this stuff. Some of my books are here, some of my trainings, some of the courses, some other free stuff. These are resources that I have for you that you can take and you can utilize. We already went over this. So the 5-step strategy, this is what I'm talking about, right? So 5-step strategy, kind of what Khaled talked about a little bit earlier. Video marketing and communication, right? So step 1 is unique content. How do you make your content unique? The quickest way to make your content unique is like video, right? And why does that make your content unique? Because it's you, and there's no other version or identity of you, right? 2, social media is fast and efficient, right? So you want to test those ideas, you want to get it out there, use social media. Authority, author, right? So we're on social media and we don't think about it as authority, but when you're publishing content, you're writing, you become an authority, right? So you want to get out there and publish that social media content. You want to do stuff like this, speaking engagements, talk to other people, make sure you author, right? And build that authority, right? So the key word here is author, like authority, like when you're writing and publishing, when you're posting to social media, you're writing and you're authoring. So That's how you make your content unique. Step number 2, I wrote a whole book on this. And that was the first book when you saw me and Ron LeGrand. People don't follow up. They'll do the first step, and there's like, I don't know how many studies on how many follow-up it takes, but they say between 7 and 12. And most people drop off at like, 80% drop off at step 2. So that goes to show you that people aren't doing, they're not marketing correctly. So make sure you follow up. I have a whole book on the importance of following up, because most agents, right, as well as investors, they are not following up. That's the most important part. If you take anything from today, just make sure you follow up. Establish. So one of the things you want to do is, like, we're doing like lead generation, so you want to make sure you collect information. And the way you can collect information without seeming salesy is you want to provide value to people. And one of the ways you do that is through a digital newsletter, right? You need to collect their information so you can follow up with them and send them other marketing material or other value. So take it to the next level with physical, right? So we're so caught up in digital, but most people, they want this physical stuff. And if you make them that offer, they'll take it. If you make them that offer, they'll take it. So establish yourself with the digital, the social media content, the social media posts, but take it to the next level with physical, because not many people are doing this. And this is what starts to separate you. And when we get to step 4, I'm gonna show you how that's possible. In your newsletter, include useful content, fun content, advertising content, and other stuff, right? So I got some books here, I got some stuff here, and it's not just all content, right? It's some fun stuff in there, right? I got a planner, it's crossword puzzles in there, mazes, all kind of stuff for people to do, right? All kind of stuff. It's not just all business. Including your content, social proof, right? People don't believe what we say, they believe what others say about us. That's why it's important I was messing with you about the bio, because they ain't gonna believe what I say. They believe what somebody else say about you. So that's highly important. You being introduced or somebody else referring you. That's why referrals are so powerful. That's why they're so powerful. Yeah, so include client, member, vendor spotlights. Promote other people. I always say, Kalia, she always getting spotlighted somewhere, so. All right, next, webinar creation. Start simple, like what we're doing. Khalid got some very simple slides. You can do the same thing as a professional. What do you do? What do you teach, right? Start simple, put those things in a slide. Put them in a slide presentation. Record a video, right? Even if you got to set something up like this and it's just you and your partner or you by yourself, do something like this. Record it or screen record it. Use Google Forms, and this is where Khalid, he gave y'all like a lot of good resources. So I don't even got to go into details on here, but people like, oh, I don't know what to post. Khalid gave you enough. Like, he gave you Answer the Public, Google, YouTube, other people's content, like all of the content is out there, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. But all the content is out there, right? So educate, provide value, tell stories over your slides. And once you do that, you now have a course, right? So we, as professionals, we offer a lot of services for free. We offer a lot of services for free. Hey, come do a consultation with me. Hey, let me go do a showing with you. Well, when you start to create assets for yourself, you can begin to like charge for these assets, right? So you now have that course. And all right, so this is the game. This is the game, so I want some participation, right? So can anybody guess what I'm talking about?
A marketing asset that lasts a lifetime and beyond.
Yes. What do you think it is?
Website.
Website?
Brand.
Brand?
Online course.
Online course? That's good.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth?
Global.
Global?
Video.
Video?
Logo.
Logo?
Evergreen content.
All right, so this asset builds authority, credibility, expertise. It's hard for people to disagree with. It's stealth marketing, and it's donated instead of discarded. Does anybody, not you, can anybody guess now?
Would it be a testimonial?
Testimonial? That's easy? Guess?
Speaking of word of mouth.
Word of mouth? I got clues all around.
Reputation.
Reputation. It's a book. It's a book. So People don't throw away books. They donate them. They donate them. And if you're out there creating content, you can take that content and put it into a book. Right? There's so many stories about people, like, people don't throw away books. You think about the stuff, like, people, they kind of, back when they used to, like, not want people to have books, they would, like, burn them. Like, it was, like, a real big deal. So people rarely throw away books. So we as professionals, especially if we're creating content, right? This is why I like to work with people that are out there authoring. You can turn all that stuff into a book. And that's what got me this opportunity. I had the book. He probably never gave me that opportunity if he didn't see this book, right? So these are all books and all products. I bought some stuff for everybody here. I got like packages over here that I'm gonna give away. But this is this is like the longest lasting asset that you can create, because people never throw them away, right? And let me see if I got, do I got more? So books, like, what you can do is you can take that video content, any content that you're doing, and have it transcribed, or if you're already writing content, you put it into a document somewhere. And 1 document, 2 document, add it all up, you only need 24 pages to make a book, right? You only need 24 pages to make a book and publish it on Amazon. So you start creating that content, you squeeze it down, you turn it into a book. And why this is like, oh my God, it's a lot of stuff, right? Why this is so powerful is because then as a professional, you can start to charge people, right? In a way where they won't even know, right? So one of the first things I did was I was doing one of my talks and one of my speeches, right, on video marketing. I was doing a talk on video marketing, and I got into this, and I was like, what if I transcribe that into a digital asset? And that's what this is. This is me doing a class on video marketing, and all I did was put it into a format, right? You can see like the slides in there. You can start to see the stuff. So this is a talk just like this, transcribed, right? And there are like a host of providers that will transcribe these things and do this stuff for you, right? But you have a book, and what you can do is you can give this away. You can charge for it, right? Like real estate professional, like probably all of us here, like we're doing all this lead generation for free, wasting our time for free. Well, you start telling somebody, hey, you can get my book for $10. You run that in Google Ads, right? You want the free 99? You run that in Google Ads. You run this in Google Ads for $10. You let somebody buy this, right? It could be how to buy a house. You let them buy this, and then you make them other offers in between, and you start making money. And the cool thing that comes out of these leads is they're decent quality, right? Because you can say whatever you want here, and you can nurture them on how to work with you. You can say whatever you want, and they really don't see it as a marketing item. It's a book of information that's in there, right? So that's the most powerful marketing asset. You're going to squeeze that down. The prospects start to pay you, right? And one of the things that I realized when I was like doing stuff for people, it's like, oh my God, Jerome, that's a lot. I can't do it, right? So you can create all kind of assets. So this is a planner, right? And I call it low content. This is a planner that I took, and it's just content for people to plan out their goals, plan out what it is that they're trying to do, write down their income streams, write out what tools that you have, right? So you can do the same thing for buyers and sellers. You can provide them with planners, right? This is not, you don't have to become some great authority to create one of these, right? You probably go into Canva, pull some of their assets, squeeze it down, put it in here, and start to give it away or sell it, right? This is 240 pages. And sometimes I get it off for free, sometimes I charge for people. But because I'm making money, right, or because I'm charging for this, I could then put that money back into my business. I could put that money back into my business. There's no more, hey, can you do a free consultation? Can you do free this, free that? And if I want to, I can just give it away. I could give it away. It's a whole bunch of, I got a whole bunch of books over here. But that is the ultimate marketing asset, right? So now, 12-point ultimate marketing follow-up. Can anybody guess 12? Can anybody guess like what I'm calling like 12-point? 12. No.
12 blood?
12. 12. 12 touches.
I'll put them there.
Because it takes 12.
It's a trick question because it's 12 months, right?
Oh, okay.
It's 12 months, and it makes it easy. You only got to do this once per month, right? So per month. You follow up 12 times a year by using what? A newsletter, right? What kind of newsletter? Like what format? Email. Blog.
Email blast.
Email blast. It should be both. It should be digital and physical. So you want to do the email, but you also want to do the physical too, right? The reason why you want to do a physical, I don't have a copy today, but you can put that physical into an envelope, and you're giving people news information, but you include other marketing items inside of that newsletter, right? But in order for you to maybe get them on your list, you need to send them like something like this, like a book, right? They don't know when you send them the book. They're like, I'm getting a book, but they're on your list. And you can send them whatever you want, right? And what you're going to include in your newsletter is all that stuff that we talked about. Fun content, advertising content, tips, strategies. You're going to include all that in your newsletter. And it's going to be a physical newsletter because nobody else is doing that physical newsletter. Okay? So, these are all examples. These are like past clients that I have. Some of you know some of these people, but those are those examples. So, conclusions and final thoughts. The key to marketing is simplifying. People know what stuff is, right? That's one of the big reasons why this strategy works. They know what a book is. Consultation, they're like, what's that? What are you gonna sell me? What are you gonna sell me? What are you gonna give to me? People are willing to pay for a book, right? So we need to stop giving our time away for free to people that's not serious. I know all of y'all dealt with tire kickers before when they're like, oh yeah, I'm sure, maybe not, right? You're wasting your time. When they start to pay for this book and some of those courses that you create, you're no longer, there's no more tigers, there's no more free this, free that. So you start to charge for your time, right? And when you collect these slides, there's another slide in here that shows you how you can like do this strategically, right? You get them in the door. Maybe you charge $10 for a book, but then you can offer them what is called a order bump, right? So you can offer them, hey, they come into my funnel. I'll say, hey, you want this book? You can get this book for only $9.99, right? But then I say, hey, you might need the planner to go with this. And it's going to cost you $30, right? So you can make that offer, and then like, damn, I probably really do need that planner, and they start to pay. So I made, let's just say I profit half of that, $15 that I can put back into my marketing. And you know, when you start to do paid strategies, $15, $20 a day could go a long way. It could go a long way. So your book will live on, unlike other marketing material. Business cards, flyers, people throw that stuff away like almost immediately. The book sit around for like years. Like we got a bookshelf and there's like all these books on there. Even if we never read them, they're still there. And when we glance at it and we see it, we know that person, whatever the value is of that book. So ground zero conclusion. Be available on all platforms. This is one of the ways that you do that, right? Khaled talked about this last talk. Be available on all of the platforms. Amazon is a platform that you can be on, that people can search for you on. That's a platform, right? Be available on all of them. Just because you have to be available on all doesn't mean you need to start. You need to do all, right? So you start with one. And typically social media is the best platform to start with. And most of the time, Facebook. So business without marketing equals, this is what James said last time, right? You remember that? He said, you chase a deal, get a deal, close a deal. Chase a deal, get a deal, close a deal. I was like, man, I remember that. Like we're trying to build a business. Like we got in this thing, but we want to build a business. So if you build a marketing asset and a marketing system, you don't have to do this here. Chase a deal, get a deal, close a deal. Like we left, like I left Pathmark because I was tired of rat race, and then I came back and I got right back into another rat race. Chase a deal, get a deal, close a deal. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I want to get out of this, right? So that's why I built the agency. That's why I started to build like active marketing assets that can do stuff without me, right? These like people, even if they're not reading my books, they're out there working for me. They're out there working for me. My videos, they're out there working for me, right? So, and then real estate, right? We try to do the free 99 thing, and we sell, James said it, like, he said the customer is there, the product is there, we sell the highest producing at the highest, what did he say? The highest ticketed item, right? We're selling these things for thousands upon thousands of dollars, and be like, oh no, I don't know if I want to spend I don't want to spend money on ads. Right? I just showed a strategy that we can employ, right? So we can spend money on advertising, right? Because that's why those companies, Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, that's why they're dominating us individually, because they're spending money. They got money. We can do the same thing using these strategies today, right? Create a planner, create those videos, create that stuff where you can start to charge that prospect that's not ready. Oh, I'm not ready for that, but I'll read your book, right? So The internet allows you to bring awareness fast. That's why we talked about social media and internet today. But the internet is not the only strategy that you apply. The internet is just one aspect, right? That's why I talked about the digital newsletter, taking it physical, because we got to go offline with some of this stuff too. So ground zero conclusion. All right, these are the next steps. So action item, what you can do is go out there and create content, right? People, oh, what kind of content should I create? Khaled did a whole presentation on what you can create content about. So you go out there and you create that content. If you want the slides and bonus resources, email me. Honest feedback. I'm very direct. Just tell me the truth. If you didn't like the presentation, say it. If you did, say it. Whatever it is, you just let me know and I'll send you the slides and all of the resources. I got a lot of free stuff for you. So that's my email address right there. Just email me. I'll send the slides over to you with all of the resources. And yes. So we'll stop there. Khaled, floor is yours. I got some resources. It's not too many people here, but I got resources for everybody that came. So I got these little bags. I'm going to try to give everyone a bag. And Khaled, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. How did I do in time?
Good.
Okay.
You right on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. I'll be reaching out to everybody to see how we can make this, because I'm looking to do this every month, okay? And I feel like it's something that is needed by us as far as so we can start doing more business with each other, more as a tribe or a community. So I'll be reaching out to everybody if you guys have ideas on how we can get people